Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good
Good
morning.
morning, sir. Good
Morning,
morning,
sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good
morning, sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
बेटा मोदी जी
Good
को कॉपी
morning.
कर रहे हो? हम्म? प्रधानमंत्री जी का नकल कर रहे हो? और ये कुंवर साहब है, कुंवर गौरव सिंह। तुम पागल हो कि सब पागल है? आप जब ऑनलाइन रहे तो ऐसी बातें मत किया करिए कुंवर साहब। आप कहीं के कुंवर हैं, कुंवर की गरिमा को थोड़ा मेंटेन करिए। कुंवर का मतलब जानते हो? अभी आप कुंवर हैं, बाद में आप राजा बनेंगे। उसकी गरिमा को बचा कर रखो। लेट्स बिगिन द क्लास. Today we are going to study categorization of industries. How different industries are put into different category. On what basis? What is the criteria? You people are very studious, intelligent, genius. So try to tell the class, how can we categorize the industries? Anyone? Let
Sir,
me see.
large, medium, and small.
On the basis of
On the basis of,
On the basis of raw material.
on the basis
Sir,
of,
on the basis of market capitalization.
okay.
Sir, on the basis of input, on the basis of output, on the basis of Sir, we can also categorize on the basis of ownership.
Okay. There are various ways on by which we can categorize the industries. Suppose let us give you a different example. If you happen to have you ever been to a big city? I assume that all of you have been to big cities like Bangalore, like Bombay, like Hyderabad, like Delhi, Chandigarh, or other big cities, maybe Lucknow. You people must have been invited by the Honorable Chief Minister to give you award because you are meritorious student and he is helping the meritorious student. If you walk through the city, you will find several buildings of different nature, different kind. If you find small houses, then you will think who owns that. Maybe there are you find some big houses, modern structure, modern house or old palatial buildings, then you can have a thought that this house, this palatial house may belong to some king, ex-king or Kumar or things like that. You may find a big building and written that Government of India is written there. Then you can understand this building belongs to Government of India. Maybe it is telephone department, maybe it is some government office. Maybe you can find some state government offices. So by just seeing and reading, you have an understanding that these houses belong to certain persons, certain institutions, certain government, maybe state, maybe local, maybe central government. Similar is the case of the first categorization of industries on the basis of ownership. Who owns the industry? Now, most of the industries are owned by private persons. There must be few industries who owns the industry, maybe a small industry, maybe large industry. It can be of any nature. Somebody of just mentioned that on the basis of market capitalization. I do not know whether you understand what does this terminology market capitalization means. It is a very complex thing. Right now, you are not required to know it, but if you know it, it is good. And if he knows what is market capitalization, it is good. How much investment is private, you can call it private of various kinds. Say a group of persons, a company. Company can be limited, company can be unlimited. But it is a private industry. For example, industries owned by they are private industry, but Tata is not the sole owner. There may be many owners. In the beginning, it may have been started by 2 partners, 4 partners, 8 partners. But when the industry is listed in the share market, in the stock exchange, you can buy the share of that industry. I can buy, anybody can buy, and we also become the owner of that industry. For example, if I have a share of Reliance Industries of Ambani, even if I have 5 shares or 10 shares of Reliance Industries, then I am also owner of Reliance Industries. It is a private venture, anybody can buy a share, but when the decisions are taken in the general body meeting, then the number of shares who owns commands that much vote. So if I am owner of 10 shares, then among lakhs and lakhs of shares, crores of shares which have been sold by Reliance, 10 shares, 10 vote does not mean much. The decisions are taken by those persons who own higher number of shares. If I have 25 or 26% of share of Reliance, then I can intervene in the decision because I have greater voting rights. So most of the industries, for example, this is a technical thing, I need not go into it, but to give you an idea, for example, in Reliance Industries, Mukesh Ambani, he owns more than 50% of the share. So all the decisions are taken by him. Of course, with the consent of the other shareholders. So on the basis of ownership, we can have a private industry, private sector we call it. It may be limited company, it may be unlimited company, but it is a private sector. Now, if the industry has been started by the central government, then we can call it as central government enterprises. There are so many central government enterprises. There were around 246 central government enterprises few years back. Now many of them have been sold, and the government is on the spree, on the task of selling all the central government of organizations or industries because they are not able to run it and they can earn profit out of it. So central government organizations are of various nature. The organizations are of different nature. If it is wholly owned by the government, then it is known as state corporations or state holdings. For example, railways. At one time, railways was 100% owned by the government. There were several other industries which were 100% owned by the government. Now, then another organization of central government or of public sector was started known as government industries. When you have to take decisions without getting permission from the parliament, because government industries are owned by the public, we are the owner. The industry has been set up, or organization has been set up by our tax money. But some action, some decisions are to be taken, then the consent of the parliament is to be taken, and consent of parliament means that the public, the elected representative, have been given the authority by the public to take decisions on their behalf. So central government organizations can be state holding, it can be government companies, and it can be corporations also. For example, UP Power Corporation. There are so many corporations run in the country. All are public sector industries, that is government, whether it is owned by the central government or it is owned by the state government, or in some places it is owned by the Nagar Nigam or municipal corporation. For example, Bombay. In Bombay, the Bombay Municipal Corporation is a very big corporation. It owns several organizations or industries. The budget of Bombay Municipal Corporation every year is around 70,000-80,000 crores. So it is a huge organization. So one is private sector, the second is government sector. Third, there can be a partnership between private and government. It is known as joint sectors. It is owned jointly by government and private sector. If the shareholding of private personnel are more than 50%, then you can call it that the decision will be taken by the private sector. For example, Life Insurance Corporation, LIC. It is a government organization. It is a government company, corporation, and the share of government corporation was around 78%. But recently, in the past few months, the government has sold its share to private sectors, to foreign sectors, and now the government has become a minority owner. It has less than 50%. So government is trying to sell its enterprises in the private hands, because the government thinks that the job, the role of the government is to govern the country, not to run the industry. So there are debates about it, whether the government is doing the right thing or wrong thing, whether this is a sensible decision or not. You can study it on your own, because that is not in our course. We are not going to go into that. Then the second criteria of categorizing industries is about the scale. How huge, how big, how small are industries. It is decided on the basis of investment in the plant, in the industry, in the enterprise, in the institution. If it is more than a certain amount, for example, it is more than 100 crores, it will be called a large industry, large scale industry. The amount of investment can be 1,000 crores, 5,000 crores, 10,000 crores, 20,000 crores, 50,000 crores. It depends. So we have a large industry on the basis of the scale of operation. How big that is. Cost huge industries, they are basically capital intensive industries. For example, steel industries, they are capital intensity intensive industries. Huge amount of money is invested there. If the amount of investment is less than say 100 crores, because these criteria changes. So in the next few lectures, when I will talk about small scale industries, MSME sector, I will tell you what is the amount of investment which has been fixed by the government for a industry to be labeled as small scale industry. Any industry which has more than that amount of investment is a large industry. So there are large industries. There is a category on the scale, on the basis of criteria of scale, which lies between the small industry and large industry, that is medium industries. So there the investment is more than the fixed for the small scale industry, but less than for the large industries. So large scale industries, medium scale industries, and then come the small scale industries, which we will study. So on the basis of ownership, one industries can be categorized. On the basis of scale, industries can be categorized. There can be other criteria also to categorize the industry. For example, somebody said it that on the basis of use of raw materials, we can categorize a industry. For example, if any industry is established to produce capital goods, that is the capital industries, capital intensive industries. For example, I just talked about steel. What steel industries manufacture? They basically manufacture iron, steel. Steel is manufactured from iron ore and copper. It is a mixture of iron ore and copper at a very high temperature. If you visit a steel industry or several other industries, you will find that there are boilers, chimney-like things which have a very, very high temperature where these are mixed and steel is made out of it. So steel is a capital good. What is a capital good? Capital good is that good which is utilized to make other products. For example, all the machines which are made in all the heavy machinery industries, their one critical input component is steel. So steel is not consumed directly. Steel is used for other purposes to make some other item. So capital-based industries, the end use of capital is to make other products. So we have got several capital-intensive or capital-based industries. Then we have got industries where whatever is produced is consumed directly. It is known as consumer industries. For example, oil industries, various kinds of oil which is made, which is produced, is or grilled, is used for consumption. So oil industries are basically edible oils, other kind of oils are basically used for consumption. So consumer or consumption based industries are there. Bread industries, there are so many. Most of the milk industries, dairy industries, they are products which are consumed. So one is capital industries, the other is consumer industries. One is the third, you can call it durable consumer industries, durable consumer good industries. Almost all the electrical equipment which we use in our daily life. You name anything. You name, for example, you begin by mobile, you begin by fridge, you talk about ACs, you talk about geysers, you talk about TVs, you talk about fan, you talk about automobiles, motorcycle, scooter, cars, truck. They all are consumed, they all are used, but over a long period of time, they are durable. So these are consumer durable industries. So consumer capital good industries, consumer good industries, consumer durable industries. So you can, there are others also. For example, very small industries in small scale sector, for example, cottage industries. In cottage industries, for example, let us talk about a particular item, sauce, pickles, that is achar. This is also a industry. For example, let us talk about papad, lizzat papad. Thousands and thousands of people are employed there, and it is almost a kind of cottage industries where most of the items are made for consumption. But there are other ornamental things which are made. For example, gems and jewelry. They are ornamental industry, but they are consumed by people, not eaten, but they are durable consumption goods which are used as ornaments. So that is also a kind of industry. So on the basis of end uses of any product of industry, you can categorize them into capital good industries, into consumer industries, into consumer durable industries. So these are the basic three criteria on which industries are categorized. There can be others also. For example, on the basis of technology. If advanced technology, modern technology is utilized, it is known as highly technical industry. If the level of technology is low, it is medium technical industry, technological industry. If only manual work is done, all the things are made by skilled persons, by hand, by manually, by using small equipments. So then that can be another kind of industry. So these are basically the kind of categories of industries which we categorize on the basis of scale, on the basis of ownership, on the basis of technology, and on the basis of end uses of the products. And I think now I hope that you have an idea. If you think of any industry in the country, you can categorize them. You can put them either under the category of private industry, you can put them under the category of public industry, you can put them under the category of joint industry. Same industry may be a capital good industry, it may be a consumer good industry, it may be a consumer durable industry, it may be a highly technological based industry. So these are the ways in which industries can be categorized. We have in our country, in all the countries of the world, and with time, technology is more and more utilized. But in a country like India, where there is a huge population, unemployment rate is very high, there are people who advocate that only labor intensive industries where more labor is employed should be set up in the economy so that more employment can be generated. At the same time, national income can also increase, profit can be earned. Use of such industries which is useful for common man should be set up, and it should be labor intensive industries. These are the things over which debates are going on. There are certain people who think that each and every economic activity in the economy in the country should be carried out only by the private sector, and it should be based on market mechanism. That is, the price determination should be set up on the basis of market, on the basis of demand and supply. For example, a very current example by which we all will be affected or we are affected is that two private companies in the country, Serum Institute and Biotech, Bharat Biotech, they have made vaccines for corona. Now, there is a controversy running in the country that what prices one should pay, at what cost one should get vaccine. There are certain state government which said that everyone will be inoculated or will be given a shot of vaccine free of cost. The private sector is selling those vaccine to the state government and central government in different rates. Now, if you want to avoid rush crowd, you will go at a place where few people can afford to go. There you will pay 600, 800 rupees to get a shot of vaccine. There may be a place where you will have to pay only 400 rupees, and there may be some place where one may get free of cost vaccination. But because it is a private industry, they have invested money. Now they want to make profit. And in this crisis period, private entrepreneurs, private industries, they are not bothered or concerned about the social welfare of the people of the country. Their sole aim, the sole criteria, the sole motive of in the lost day job, where there is a almost lockdown condition, where people do not have any income, and vaccine is necessary for each and everyone in order to fight with corona virus, this infectious disease, this pandemic. Everyone should be given vaccine free of cost. This only the government can do, whether the state government or the central government. And when they do such thing, we call it the welfare measure of the government. The government is there to see the welfare of the people. But because of certain reasons, the government is short of money. The government says that they do not have enough revenues, economic activity has gone down, taxes are not up to mark. So they will charge money. Now, if you charge money, what is the harm of private sector? You can understand it, that around 50% of the population of the country cannot be vaccinated because they do not have the paying capacity. Now, if 50% of the people of the country do not get vaccine because of lack of resources, lack of money, lack of paying power, they will always be vaccines also. So it is essential and necessary that each and everyone should be vaccinated. Now it is up to the central government, it is up to the state government that they should try their level best to vaccinate all those people, all the people of the population. Those who have a capacity to pay, they may be charged. Those whose financial conditions are not good, who do not have any job, who do not have any work, they should be vaccinated at free of cost. So, private sector and government sector, governments, the basic motive of public sectors are social welfare. They do not overcharge. They even sometimes, government sector, public sector, they sometimes sell their product at less than the cost price because it is for the welfare of the society. But private sector is not interested in the welfare of the society. Their basic motive, their basic objective is to make profit, earn profit. And in this crisis period, anyone who makes profit by black marketing or by hoarding, this is a criminal act. They should be hanged to death. For example, if you know that yesterday the Madras High Court, they cast aspersions on the election commission. They said that when the pandemic situation was such grim and bad, how do election commission allowed elections and rallies to be held and spread pandemic? They said that election commission should be charged with murder charges. They should be hanged. If such things are done, then election commission can never take liberty. Nobody should defend them, because this was the time when precautions should have been taken. But election commission kept quiet. Election commission is an institution of the country, very important institution. Judicially, the High Court is also an institution. If the institutions of the country perform their duties successfully and sincerely, then the country can run smoothly. But these institutions, they have been hijacked by people who are in power, and they do not think about the social welfare benefit of the people in general. So public sector are for the social welfare of the people, private sector are for private profit, and the debate is going on in the country whether everything should be privatized or whether everything should be in the government hand. One simple example which will affect you if it comes into action, operation. For example, education. If universities are taken or privatized, then believe me, 99% of people sitting here will not be able to get admission, because BA1, the first year fees will be around 6 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Who will pay for a course of BA 10 lakh rupees? We do not have money. From where we will get it? Because in the country there are industries. For example, there are universities. Ashoka University in Hisar in Haryana. The 1 year fees of BA course is 10 lakhs. MIT universities. There are several others universities, private universities, which charge very heavily. But universities are public sector universities, government universities. Here you can do your BA by just paying in all the 3 years 6,000 rupees. So this is the difference between private sector and public sector. It is up to us whether we are in favor of privatization or whether we are in favor of public sector. It depends. So these are the debates which will go on forever. So I think that categorization of industry, this much what I have told you is enough. You may get a small note on it, but 99% chances are there. 1% margin is there. 99% chances are there that no big or long question will be asked from this. Maybe you may get a question, what are the objectives of industrial development in India? And another question attached to the same question is how industries are categorized in India. That all can be asked from this. And the second question will be from small scale industries, which we will study in the next class. So if you have got any doubt, if you have got any confusion, there is still time. You can ask. We can discuss anything.
Sir, what is meant by limited and unlimited company?
You are not required to know it. Limited and unlimited. There is one thing known as Indian Companies Act. If you start any organization, any enterprise, any unit, you have to get your company listed under India's Company Act with a society of registration. Now, if suppose you have invested 100 crore rupees in that enterprise, and if the industry could not run, if it failed, if there are losses, so if there is a limited liability, the owner will pay all the shareholders a limited amount. Limited means you are not bound to pay each and everyone whatever they have invested in your firm. Unlimited means that you have to pay everything from wherever you pay, but you are required to pay it. So when the liability is limited, then suppose they sell the plant, they sell the land, and they sell it for 20 crores. So only 20 crores will be paid, whereas 100 crores they have collected from the public. But if the liability is unlimited, then not only the land and the factory, but all the assets which the owner of the industry has can be taken away by the government and sold and to pay it. For example, you see what has happened to Sahara India. Sahara has taken money from each and every one. A very huge amount, lakhs of crores, several lakhs of crores rupees they have taken. Now they have defaulted. Cases are going on since the last 15-20 years. The chairman of Sahara, Subrat Roy, is in the jail. Now, when the government says, when the court says that you have to pay, he sell one of his property and pay it. Again, the case is dragged on for another 2-3 years. So his liabilities are unlimited. He has to pay everyone. So far he has got assets, he can pay. If he does not have an asset, from where he will pay? You can put him to jail, you can hang him, whatever you do, it hardly matters. People have lost money. For example, in Bengal, there is a scam like Sahara scam, and cases are in the court. All those people who are involved in that case, who have been charge sheeted in the case, they have joined the ruling party, the BJP. For example, Subrat, Mukul Roy, that Suvendu Adhikari. There are so many people who have joined BJP just in order to come out clean out of that scam. They have made thousands and thousands of crores of rupees, and now they are fighting the case. So limited and unlimited means this in this context. Anything else? So no other queries. Somebody has written a message, this is my first class. Who's first class? Tell me.
Mine sir, मेरी है
अभी तक काहे नहीं किया?
सर ग्रुप में ऐड नहीं थे लिंक नहीं मिलता है
वो क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
सर आज लिंक मिला है तो ऐड किए हैं
तो अब तो बहुत देर में, जब क्लास खत्म, पूरा कोर्स खत्म हो रहा तब तुमने वो किया।
कोई नहीं सर बुक से कवर कर लेंगे
बहुत अच्छी बात है।
सर मेल तो गया होगा ना, मेल में लिंक गई होगी ग्रुप से।
मेल में
मतलब
मेल में बहुत सारे मेल आ जाते हैं तो उसमें थोड़ा डिस्टर्बेंस हो जाता है ना ढूंढने पर, कई बार स्पैम में चला जाता है तो उसमें
अरे भाई सीधे सर्च कर लेते इकोनॉमिक्स डाल के।
ठीक है, जाने दो, वो इम्पोर्टेंट आदमी, उनके पास बहुत सारे मेल आते हैं, देखने का टाइम नहीं है। He has got books. He will study on his own. There is no problem. This is self-study is the best study. You are going in the right direction. So don't panic. It's a very simple paper. You study it properly because this is going to help you in the long run also. Because whatever competitive exam you appear in India, around 25% of the questions will be from Indian economy. Whichever exam, whether Reserve Bank of India exam, whether Indian Economic Service, whether in IS, whether PCS, any exam, 25% questions are always there from Indian economy. मेरे ख्याल से अब चलना चाहिए क्योंकि आपके मैसेज